rooting for Opendoor, quite honestly. So we'll see what happens. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 164 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Opendoor making moves, big moves. They've got huge ambitions. We're going to talk about that on Racket 1, Nicole. Racket 2, we have a free tool that everybody, including myself, I'm going to start doing it immediately after the podcast.
And I think we should do a little competition between you and I.
All right, let's do it.
I'm ready.
I guarantee I win this competition, by the way.
I don't know. I have a lot more friends than you do.
Yeah, but your friends aren't into this. How much money are we putting on it?
Well, let's get into it first, and then
right. That's Racket number 2, and then we have a Marketeer from Tampa, and next week's Marketeer is already lined up, so we're doing good on the Marketeers, and it's a huge announcement next week. Next week is the week. Our second weekly show starts next week. If you have not subscribed to The Real Word here on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you do that. Hit the notification bell, because we have a second show now with The Real Word, this format, and then The Real Word Confessionals. Should I say it? Have we said the name of the show yet?
Well, first
we just did.
You did. You just did. Yes.
That'll be next week. Stay tuned for that. We'll announce who our first few guests are going to be on next week's show. Let's get into Racket number 1, though. This is an Inman article, and it's all about Opendoor making big moves. Opendoor reveals ambitious expansion plans. The company wants to double its total markets in 2021, but is eyeing a much bigger goal. Patrick Kearns wrote the article. Of course, if you are on YouTube, we will link that up for you below. And let's get right into number 1. They want to have 42 additional markets in 2021, and eventually they want to get to where they're in 70%. They're in markets, 100 markets of 70% of the inventory for single-family homes in America. All right, so they are really trying to be aggressive in where they're planting their flags. They've already announced plans to launch operations in San Diego and Asheville, North Carolina, 2 totally different markets. Asheville is a pretty small market. I don't know if you've ever been there, Nicole, but
never been to Asheville.
Small little town. So that was interesting. They will open a total of 6 new markets in the first quarter of 2021. So that kind of puts them behind the 42 market goal if they're going to stay with 6 a quarter.
Well, and the quarter's almost over. Hopefully they're moving here because the month's almost over.
That's a good point. CEO says, again, they're not stopping there. They want the 70% of total homes in the United States or markets, 100 total markets that would serve up 70%. Number 2, the big thing is they've increased their buy box by 35%. That was quarter 4 of 2020. So they're getting a little more lenient on what they're buying, which to me is surprising because the market keeps going up. They had that big IPO, so now they're a public traded company. So they have to make moves. They can't just sit there. They're answering to shareholders quarterly. But to increase their buy box by 35% in a market that keeps accelerating seems a little iffy.
What are you doing over there? You kicking stuff?
I don't know what happened, Bobby.
You're kicking things. You got to stay
Bobby,
still.
What happened there, Bob?
Did you kick something? Because there's no reason that should have happened.
I don't know. I mean, I've got a million cords here. Obviously,
I have a million. I got a million cords on my side too, but I'm not screwing up my screen.
You can see that Nicole and I are shooting remotely. I don't know what that was.
It's all good. That was fun.
We're rolling with it. That's how it goes here.
I'm great with it. I mean, we're still talking about the buy box.
Yeah, they increased it by 35% in the fourth quarter, and they did this by increasing its coverage of price. So they're going up in price in a market that it's accelerating very quickly. Risky move there. Zip codes within their current market, so they're starting to expand. If they have a core market, they're starting to widen that out a little bit, as well as the home type. That's another interesting one because if you're in a community like Arizona or Florida where you've got communities where it's like, okay, there's 3, 4, 5 different floor plans in this community. Each house is the same. But if you're going to start expanding into like very odd homes, there's more risk. Everything they're talking about here by expanding the buy box increases risk.
I don't know. Something's wrong with your microphone, Bobby's saying. Put the microphone by your mouth.
Just tell him to point it at
I mean,
his
it's
mouth, not his
I'm
chin.
on it. I mean, I'm on it. I mean, I can't get any closer to it.
I think you need to mimic me. I think I'm doing it right.
Yes.
I can't.
Perfect.
You're not
Now
even
you're
talking. I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody even. It doesn't matter where your
I
mic is.
don't usually ever, this is your gig. I'm just here to tell you that your mic is wrong. That's why I'm here.
You couldn't hear me.
No, I can hear you.
All right. So let's keep going.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Do you agree that all these things that they're doing increases risk?
Well, it absolutely increases risk, but I do though think that but that's the name of the game, right? I mean, you have to increase prices. I mean, obviously we've been talking about the median prices going up, so naturally the prices are gonna go up as well. But again, I mean, if they want to take over, what are they saying? 70% of the market. I mean, they want to have
100 total markets, which serves more than 70% of total homes in the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they're
big markets.
Yes, but so you're gonna have to. I mean, it is a risk, but
which is why Asheville doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, the third component of Opendoor's expansion is what everybody says they want. It's an effort to build out its digital one-stop shop. So
everybody wants a one-stop shop.
That
I don't
means
even know what that
home loans.
means anymore.
It's such a buzzword in real estate. It's the most annoying word at this
Yes.
point. One-stop shopping, end-to-end consumer transactions online. Home
But
loans
you still have to
division.
talk to 8 different people. So is it really I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's such a buzzword, appeasing shareholders, making it sound good. They're also doing what we talked about with Compass last week. If you go back to episode 163, Compass bought up some really big-time closing service companies. They're doing that. They're acquiring, are they looking to do it? Yeah, they're looking to acquire some closing services, as well as offering more traditional brokerage services. So everybody starts with one thing: Zillow, Redfin,
Right.
these portals, these online portals. Opendoor starts as an iBuyer, and
Right.
then they eventually come back to traditional brokerage services.
Right.
Very interesting, because that's the center of all these other auxiliary products that they want to do.
Right. Well, and it's also they also started it because they didn't want to be the traditional brokerage too. So it's interesting, but
Right.
Yeah.
Opendoor had no ambitions of being a traditional broker. They wanted to really, what was his line here? They've got a goal here. It was kind of a hilarious line. Eric, the CEO, this is their company's goal: be the best place to sell a home online and seamlessly move.
seamless.
I mean, there's just like
There's so
there's
many
nothing.
seams.
It's such an empty quote. But hey, they raised $980 million, and they follow up an equity offering of $860 million in February. So they've got a massive war chest to expand. That's how Patrick Kearns ends the article. There's no question about it. You've got to pay attention. They're spending money. They're expanding into everybody's markets. 70% of the total U.S. homes, 100 markets. So if you're in one of those markets, you're going to want to be able to educate your consumer on what they're doing and what you can offer in as opposed to what they're offering. All right?
All right. Well, that was a fun one.
Is it a racket?
Total racket.
Total racket.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not Opendoor, quite honestly, so we'll see what happens. Bracket number 2, Jay Thompson article. Shout out to Jay. Thank you for being a fan of the show, and happy to get into your article here on Inman, how Google Alerts can help you stay on top of your business. So Jay says here, tucked away in the little corner of the internet is a powerful tool provided by a mighty company at the best price ever. The company is Google, the tool is Google Alerts, and the price is $0.
$0.
How much stuff are we like always getting that's, $10,000 a year, $1,000 a month, $800, like everything you turn around in real estate has a huge subscription price tag.
Oh yeah, well if you want to take the watermark off, there's a there's a cost.
What on Canva? What are you doing?
It's not just Canva, it's multiple spots, but yes, I'm on Canva. I participate in Canva. Yes.
Yeah. Did you get the watermark off?
No,
Oh.
I don't usually pay for the watermarks. What I usually do is I this is just my tactic. I sometimes make it so that my photo is a little bit higher so that I can then just crop the watermark off.
Oh, you're cheating
Anyway,
the system.
a little bit. Yep.
All right,
Anyway,
so why is Jay telling us to use Google Alerts?
are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so here's where I'm feeling as though it's going to be sort of beneficial. But you put in how many phrases. I think they're giving you 1,000 phrases or words per account. So you put in these phrases into the Google alert, and if anybody starts Googling them, you get alerted that that's being Googled. So I think what's really interesting here, again, obviously you can track yourself, which is going to be our competition here. I think we should see who Googles, if people Google my name more than your name or vice versa.
Let's find out.
I think it'll be fun. But I do think that this is really interesting too, because I think that people that are trying to figure out copy, right? Or maybe hashtags, or if you are going to run some Google ads, what are going to be your phrases that you want to capture? This is an incredible way to do all of your sort of due diligence up front too, right? So you're seeing, and again, with 1,000 phrases, I mean, you can certainly mix things up enough to really figure out what is I hate to use the word trending, but what are people searching up the most before you are then putting money behind any of your ads? So
and Jay,
I think it's
Jay
great.
does a great job in this article of breaking down exactly how you're going to set up your Google alerts. So number one, to your point, you're going to enter the topic you want to follow, whether that's my town, whatever town you're selling real estate in, put my town and then put the words real estate after. So that would be for people searching homes, your first name, your last name, your company, your team name, how many times people are searching your team name. And then he goes right through all of the other steps to set that up. And it's a free tool, so why not use that? Why not be alerted for you and your business when people are searching, when people are looking you up? Or maybe, just maybe, somebody's saying something not so nice about you. There's that side of it too.
I don't think so.
Not for you, Nicole. That would never happen to you.
Never, ever. Nope.
You could also alert for your agents or your listings. Maybe somebody, remember when a lot of people would take your listing and they would scam you by putting it on Craigslist, stuff like that?
Right. Yep.
And this would give you an alert. Or sometimes people take the listing and then they start turning it into a rental.
Well, I'll be honest though too. I mean, it actually is sort of a great resource, because then you can actually tell your sellers how many times someone has Googled their address too. I mean, such a nice additional feature for like a touch point, like you're just now sort of letting them know who is Googling or how many times they have or how many times you've been alerted. I think there's so many different uses to this too. I mean, I feel like the possibilities here are endless, because you could even maybe start tracking your competition too. Maybe you're not putting in your name, you're putting in another agent's name, or I don't know. I feel like you can go kind of wild with it.
What I'm really excited, because Jay writes a lot about Zillow, obviously with his history there. I'm excited that he brought up Google. Zillow built their company on Google, right? A lot of these companies, these disruptors were built on Google ads and, products like that. I'm pumped that he's talking about it, because more agents need to really get focused on their brand, how it looks, how it appears on Google. This is a great introductory way to do that. If you're not strong on online leads, if you don't have a team and you don't have someone that can service online leads very quickly, which is what you need to do to get your money out of Google AdWords, this is a really easy way to start. You should be thinking about Google AdWords. You should be thinking about how to build your business today on Google as these disruptors continue to eat up more of the real estate pie. You've got to use Google. It's the number one search tool. YouTube's number two. You have to have a presence on both of those. We've talked about local service ads, and that's a big thing right now, and obviously traditional Google ads. But this is free, something you can start right after this podcast. I'd encourage everybody to do it. Totally not a racket. Get your game tight on Google. And if your business display and you're not getting reviews on Google, that's just, it's not in the J article, but I would add and argue that is just as important, if not more important probably, than this Google alert tip. You've got to have your business display tight, and you've got to start collecting reviews on Google like yesterday.
Are you going to set up some alerts?
Absolutely. I actually think Vanessa has some alerts set up for me,
Really?
by the way. Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to add our names to that little list and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think it's
Definitely.
going to be amazing.
Definitely in on that. All right, so not a racket. Do it today. Good article, Jay. All right, we're going over to Tampa Bay Times. We're not talking about Tom Brady either. We are talking about.
We are not talking about Tom Brady. You got a little kickback there. People didn't want to hear about the movie stars properties, so.
I know. That was good. I like the feedback. Thanks to YouTube for saying, hey, we want marketeers. We don't want the celebs. So if we don't have a marketeer, we may just throw in a celeb, but we're going to stick to the marketeers. And this week's marketeer is from Tampa. It's a realtor. And behind her viral, honest house listing, she has gotten a whole bunch of PR, free PR in Tampa Bay Times. So, and we're talking about her here on the Real Word. So way to go, Philippa.
I was waiting.
Philippa, Maine. All right. Here's what's awesome. You should read her copy and check out her photos. Maybe we can splash a couple photos in here.
We should splash a couple up there.
Yeah, definitely. But her copy is more amazing than her photos.
Here it is, literally the worst house on the street.
Yeah.
The seller has done the hard work of cleaning up the almost half-acre property. It only took 7 dumpsters. So now is your chance to take it from here. I love it. It's brilliant.
She was quoted in the article saying, everyone always told me I could never do sales. She has a marketing background, by the way. And that's because I'm too honest. And she was brutally honest in her marketing pitch on this property. It was somebody, I guess, who was going to flip, decided not to, and now just needs to sell the property. It's only a $69,000 listing. But because she was creative in her copy, because she was creative in her photos, here's another great copy line that she has. I know you've heard of a detached garage, but have you heard of a detached foundation? Because she was willing to have fun with this and be honest and get attention on herself, she has now built her brand on the $69,000 that she would have never had the opportunity to do if she just posted it on Zillow, took the average crappy photos and said, you know what, it's a $69,000 listing, so I'm gonna just mail it in. Right. Instead, she took maybe, I don't know, a couple extra cool photos and maybe 2 hours of work on writing this copy out. And now she's on Tampa Bay Times and wherever else getting all this PR. That's making, your effort, your listing work for you.
Well, I think what was really smart here, though, too, is that she included herself in the photos. Yeah. I don't know if she knew it was going to go viral or not, but obviously the fact that she's in these photos with the house has certainly, in my mind, sort of was a double win there, because now she's the face of the house. She's the face of her brand. So I love it.
If you need a place to stage your next post-apocalyptic zombie movie, this is it. So I'm sure it's already sold, and at the very least, she's gotten a whole bunch of attention. And her Google alerts, Nicole, are through the roof right now.
I'm certain they're through the roof, because we're going to be Googling her name, too. We should have Googled it before to make sure we said it right.
Yeah, you can actually play back the sound on Google if you're smart enough to do that before you start the podcast. All right, that's the Real Word. I think a quick little show today, tight show, except for maybe we had a technical difficulty.
Some hiccups, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's all good.
Bobby, you're just gonna figure that out. That's gonna flow fine. I'm not worried about it.
It's gonna be great.
And next week's a big week. We are releasing the biggest show of all time in the real estate space. Yes, it is our second show, all on this channel. So we'll have 2 shows a week. We'll always have our Real Word dropping around Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and then a new show on Thursday of next week. So stay tuned for that. We're going to announce the guests.
Wow, we're really committing to that. Hopefully you have a door on your office so that we don't have to. Yeah. I mean, boy, we're really throwing out days here.
Well, luckily that first episode is already recorded, and we know it's really good. So make sure you subscribe here. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the Real Word channel. And if you're on any of the podcasts, if you're listening on podcasts, would love a 5-star review from you. That would mean a lot to us. So
yeah, and check back. Make sure you start Googling Nicole White.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. Well, we haven't figured out the terms of this bet.
No, but just start doing it because I'm going to throw our alerts on right now and we're going to see who wins. So make sure you're just Googling Nicole White. If you're bored or if you're sitting waiting for something, if you're at the grocery store, you know, start hacking at it. Although there's probably a lot of Nicole Whites. Maybe that's a good thing.
That's probably plays to your favor a little bit.
I think it will play to my favor. So this is going to be exciting.
All right, big week. We'll see you guys next week. Keep it real.
Bye, guys.